Thanksgiving is a time to gather together with family and friends, to take some time and reflect on the lives and the memories you share. And, if you're lucky, to also eat at least one amazing meal. I'm Charity Nebbe. Yes, now we can add the pecan. On this special Thanksgiving episode of Iowa Ingredient, my family joins me in the studio kitchen to prepare our favorite Thanksgiving recipes, and we'll also get some tips on Thanksgiving tablescaping. It's all coming up next on a special Thanksgiving episode of Iowa Ingredient.
Funding for Iowa Ingredient has been provided by a grant from the W.T. and Edna M. Dahl Trust, Chef Lisa Laval of Trellis Cafe and Chef Michael Laval of the Des Moines Embassy Club. For more than 100 years, the Des Moines Embassy Club has provided a place to dine, celebrate, and do business. Located in downtown Des Moines and in West Des Moines, details are at embassyclub.com. Friends, the Iowa Public Television Foundation.
Some people use a whole beaten egg. You put it on the tray.
In a traditional horseshoe shape.
Finish this up. We'll give it one more stir.
Smells amazing.
It's just off the center of the roll.
Food brings us together. It's something all of us share. We've all got to eat. So you combine that biological imperative with a holiday that celebrates family, friends, blessings, and togetherness, and you have a recipe for a truly memorable meal. In a few minutes, my family is going to join me in the studio kitchen. We're going to prepare some of our favorite Thanksgiving dishes. But first, we're going to get some advice on how to set the perfect Thanksgiving table. Terry Colby is a designer and prop stylist in the Des Moines area. Making things look pretty is her job, and Thanksgiving is a wonderful opportunity for her to share her talents with her family.
I just really enjoy getting together with my family, having just really a great time to catch up with each other and truly be thankful.
For Terry, setting the table is a meaningful part of her holiday gathering and a chance for guests to get involved.
I'm setting the table after I have my runner placed. And what I've learned is that the centerpiece doesn't have to be anything fancy. I like to just use what I have. And started with just a pumpkin that I purchased at a little pumpkin patch. And I think it's a fun idea when your guests arrive just to have something like this around that maybe they can all take a minute and write something on the pumpkin that they're thankful for. And we gathered a few pine cones, some acorns, and some leaves. And so my centerpiece is going to be as simple as just taking some of these elements that we found and placing them in layers on my cake stand. Now it's time to set the table with our dishes. This is just our everyday dinnerware that we use at my house, and I always think it's really fun to mix and match. And so the dinner plate and the salad plate go in the center. There really is a rhyme and reason for where you place your silver. The fork always goes to the left side of things, and then the knife is placed to the right of your dinner plate, along with a spoon to the right of that. The reason for this is that you're always working from the outside in. The linen, I'm going to choose to put it underneath my salad plate. Oftentimes it's to the left of the dinner plate also, underneath the fork or to the side of the fork. Next comes the glassware. And I'm just using a water glass and also a wine glass. So we'll put our water glass first and our wine off to the right of that. And finally, I did find pumpkins for soup bowls. So we're going to put that on top of our salad, and then we'll serve our soup inside of that. I, as you can tell, really love color. When I was putting together the table today, I had found these plates and I just love them. And so that was kind of my inspiration. They had the reds and the oranges in the plates, and so then I just continued on. Because of the leaves, bringing in nature is such a trend right now in decorating. I thought, oh, that can be incorporated in the centerpiece. Some of the finishing touches would be to go ahead and add small candles just to add some light to your table. Also, go ahead and make a name tag or a menu. You can do it yourself and be creative, or online there are a lot of printables that have templates available for you.
There are lots of simple ways you can make your table look beautiful using what you have and can easily gather. Add in your loved ones and lovingly prepared food, and you'll definitely have a delicious feast for the eyes.
For a lot of families, part of the togetherness of Thanksgiving is preparing the meal together, and it certainly is for our family. So I brought my family here with me today and the actual cook of the family. This is my husband, Rob, my daughter, Audrey, my son, Carter, and we are going to prepare our 3 favorite Thanksgiving dishes today. And we're going to start with my job, which is to make dessert. So you can go get ready for what you're going to do.
See you guys.
Bye.
And kids, are you guys ready to make some pie?
Yes.
All right. Now, one of the most stressful things about Thanksgiving is getting all of the food ready for the big meal. But one of the great things is that you can make dessert in advance. And a day or 2 before Thanksgiving, we always make pie, right, guys? Mm-hmm. And today we're going to make a chocolate pecan pie. All right, in this bowl, I've got 2½ cups of flour and a dash of salt. And I'm gonna add in my shortening. And the most important thing is to have your shortening really cold. So this is just unsalted butter, and I've just cut it into chunks. That's straight from the refrigerator. And I've got a ½ cup of vegetable shortening, and this is straight from the freezer. So that's very important to have that in the freezer. And then we actually just mix it by hand. So you want this to eventually become kind of sandy. You want to make small amounts of butter that you mix in. You don't want to really pulverize all of the butter, because when you bake that pie crust, you want little pockets of shortening and butter. That's what creates the flakiness. And the worst thing you can do with pie crust is overwork it, because that makes it tough. So we've got that nice sandy texture with some smaller pebbles of butter in there, and now we add the ice water. So you can hand that over here. And this, you just add enough ice water until you think it's the right texture. So this is kind of a trial and error thing. You want to add enough ice water that things come together, but you don't want it to be too wet or too sticky. All right, so you see how it sticks together. You want to make it into 2 different balls. This is enough pie crust for a double crust pie, although we're just making 1 single crust pie right now, but we have something that we'll use the rest of that pie crust for. No worries, it will not go to waste. Carter, why don't you get the flour out? You can put the water back over there, and we'll spread some flour out here. You've got a rolling pin, right, Carter? Mm-hmm. You can leave that out. We may need a little bit more. Put the flour down so things don't stick. flour on top. And pie making is always messy, isn't it? That's okay.
That's why it's fun.
That's one of the reasons. I think that the pie at the end also makes it kind of fun, don't you?
Yeah.
Now, I know chocolate pecan is maybe my favorite. What's your favorite kind of pie, Carter?
Cherry.
Cherry. How about you, Audrey?
Pumpkin.
Pumpkin.
Especially at Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Because Grandma and Grandpa make really good pumpkin pie.
Well, and we made that pumpkin pie with the ginger snap crust
Yeah,
last
that was
year.
super
That was
good.
really good. All right, I think that's thin enough. So let's see if we can get it up without tearing it to pieces. All right, you want to work on that for a while Audrey starts to put together the filling? Is that a good idea? All right, I am going to reach under you and get a bowl.
Yeah.
And Audrey, why don't you start by cracking those eggs and I'll go wash my hands.
That's a good idea.
Good job. And these are eggs from our chickens, which is kind of tricky during the holiday season because that's when chickens stop laying as much. So we have to do some stockpiling to make sure that we have enough eggs to get us through the holidays. And then we can just add everything else. So here's dark corn syrup and sugar. And we've got a little vanilla. And you know my philosophy about vanilla.
Can never have too much.
That's right. It's as long as you're baking it, it's hard to go over the top with vanilla.
Yeah.
The chocolate, which is nice and cool. So you can just stir that in.
Continually stir it while it's pouring in.
Right.
Wait, now can we add the pecans?
Yes, now we can add the pecans.
Just dump them in?
Yeah, and some people like to place their pecans so that they're all perfectly positioned. I don't spend the time doing that. We just mix them in and they all float to the top while it's baking.
And you want to get all of them thoroughly coated so they all taste good.
Yes, exactly. All right, I think we've got everything in there. And I like to push the pecans around a little bit to make sure that they fully cover the pie. And you don't have to do this part, but I like to do this. Can you get me my pastry brush from down there? I like to brush a little egg white on the crust just because then it bakes a nice golden brown. It looks pretty, it's a little bit shiny. Some people use a whole beaten egg, they'll just do that. Then it gets a little darker yellow. So it just depends on what you like. All right, and let's put this pie in the oven. Carter, can you open the door for me? Thank you very much. All right, now the hardest thing about making your pie a couple of days ahead of time is that you don't get to eat it, right?
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people do fun things with pie crust when they make pies, and in our family we make pie dough cookies. And the kids are expert at making pie dough cookies, and the great thing is you almost can't mess it up, ever, right? So make some pie dough cookies, guys.
Okay. And then we want to put some flour on the rolling pin.
Yep.
So it does not stick.
Plop that dough out there, Carter. Good, good plop. Spread it
Have
out.
a solid Carter.
Put some more flour on top. All right, great.
Okay. Now we just roll it.
Good.
Okay.
All right, now this is the super fun part. You've got butter,
Spread the butter.
and you spread butter liberally all over. And then you can put anything you want inside pie dough cookies, but we usually put cinnamon and sugar. I've put brown sugar inside them, which is really good. You can do whatever you want, but you don't want to overcomplicate it because this is supposed to be simple and fun.
Okay.
What are you doing? And this is what you get to eat the day that you make the pie.
And
So
it's
you have to
delicious.
wait on the pie until after the big meal.
Thank you.
But this is what you eat while you wait.
You can roll it up. Yay.
All right.
Then you need to put it on the tray.
And so that's a nice thick roll. They don't have to be that thick. You put it on the tray.
in a traditional
Right.
horseshoe shape.
But sometimes we'll have several rows of these, so you
You can put it in any
can-
shape.
You can put it any shape you want.
But
And
it's
my mom
traditional.
actually doesn't really like to bake pie, but she makes pie dough so she can make pie dough cookies. And then we put it in the oven while you guys wash your hands. While we are waiting to be allowed to eat the pie, we get to eat the pie dough cookies. Go for it. And they're nice and crumbly. You have to be sure to hold your hand underneath. But they're really good. All right, we're having fun eating cookies, but it's time to get the real work done, and I know Dad is ready to get down to business. So let's focus and get Thanksgiving made. And here's something else that you can make a day ahead before that Thanksgiving dinner deadline looms a little too close. We are gonna make some crescent rolls, and Audrey loves to help in the kitchen, so she's gonna be Dad's assistant right now. And this is something that your dad used to make, right? Or your grandpa used to
My
make.
grandfather, I have very fond memories of him arriving for Thanksgiving dinner if we were at my house for the dinner with a big Tupperware container full of crescent rolls and, you know, unpeeling them and unwrapping them
Right.
and using that to mop up the
Super
gravy and whatnot.
buttery goodness. All right, well, let's get started.
This is some water, a little bit of sugar, and active yeast that has been becoming active.
Right.
So
it's
that can go
bubbling
in.
like crazy.
The eggs are next.
Okay.
2 eggs. And the milk. 4 cups of flour. How about you very carefully slide this room temperature butter? Perfect. All right, and then 1/3 of a cup of sugar and a little bit of salt. And then this is going to take a few moments for the ingredients to come together. And then once all of the flour looks wet, then we'll set a timer for 5 minutes and we'll let it keep going. Okay, so it's been 5 minutes. Go ahead and turn it off. Unlock it, lift up the head. There you go. And now I'll go ahead and pull off the dough hook. Like that. Put that there. And then great. Lovely.
Looks good.
So we'll cover the bowl with plastic wrap and put it somewhere out of the way for about an hour until it rises double.
All right. All right, the dough has pretty much doubled.
It has doubled. We're going to tip it out of here onto a floured surface.
Okay.
That's the first step in dividing it in half.
And you are just gonna slice it up like a pizza.
Yep. 2, 3, 4. So that's 8. And we're going to do one at a time, so I'll move these guys out of the way. There's going to be some variation. I've already felt a little bit of variation. There's a couple that are going to be heavier than the others, but that's not a big deal. So we have our triangle. One thing we're going to do is put a little slit right there at the end. What that's going to do is it's going to give us an opportunity to stretch it out more. And then we take these two little pieces and fold them out like that. And what that does is it increases the amount of mass just off the center of the roll, okay? And then we're going to stretch it out.
So that helps them bake a little more evenly?
Yeah, so you don't have a giant chunk right in the middle. It makes these little pieces a little bit more, with more mass.
Nice.
It's so cute and pretty.
So you want to make sure that this little tab is underneath. Okay, like that, and then we'll put it here. That's 1 of 8.
All right.
Audrey, you want to try?
Yeah.
All right, we'll stretch it out just a little bit.
Okay.
We'll put the slit in. All right, go ahead.
All right.
So you take one hand here, one hand there,
And then
and
you
stretch
fold
it out to those points there.
All right. So like
There you
this.
go. Uh-huh.
And then you
job.
just roll.
And then just roll it up. Yep.
Lovely.
Very good.
Ta-da.
All right.
Good job.
Let's roll the rest of these up. You want to do one now?
Sure.
Stretch it out more that time.
Yep, looks good.
All right, so here's the last one.
All right, and then they need to rise again,
They
right?
need to rise again, so we'll set
For
them
how
somewhere. Probably 25 to 30 minutes. Again, we're looking for them to have grown, perhaps double in size.
Okay, so a great time to make the mushroom gravy.
Great time to make the gravy.
All right. All right, and now we are going to make the mushroom gravy. We've got a different kitchen helper, and this has been a very, very popular dish at our Thanksgiving dinners for the last several years. So tell us what to do.
All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this half stick of butter and we're going to put that in the pan. You may need to use the spatula to put it in there. We're going to let this melt, and then we'll use the mushrooms and the onions. We're going to just fill the pan full of mushrooms and onions and cook it for a long time. We're going to sweat them, let all of the juices come out of the mushrooms. The onions will wilt and cook. We will stir them periodically so that they don't burn on the bottom of the pan. But it's very simple. It's the kind of thing that you can start and then walk away from and do something else during the very busy Thanksgiving day.
All right.
All right, so the butter is melted. It's sizzling nicely. Let's bring over the mushrooms and pour them in. Bring over the onions and put them in on top. We've essentially overloaded the pan, but we're just going to sweat these out. Let all the juices come out of the mushrooms and the onions. Leave it covered. We'll stir it probably every 5 minutes until they're cooked down to the point that we like them.
Okay, and that should take about 20 minutes or so? All right. How's the gravy coming?
Almost done.
All right, and these look like they're ready to
They
go.
look great. Look at the size of that one.
That is a big one. This
Holy
one's
cow.
a tiny one, but they look great. And is the oven ready?
Yep, it's going to bake at 375 for about 12 minutes.
Okay, let's put them in.
All right, so we're ready to finish this up. We'll give it one more stir. Whoa.
Smells amazing.
Okay, 2 teaspoons of thyme. We'll stir it in. And now, Carter, in the metal measuring cup, there's some red wine.
Good job.
Perfect.
No splashing, I like it.
Excellent. All right, now, there are 2 cups of water in the glass measuring cup. All right, good. Now, Can you fill that up with more water, please? Another 2 cups. Turn up the heat a little bit.
Now, what's in that jar over there?
This
It looks
is,
so gross.
we're actually headed right to this next. This is vegetable bouillon concentrate. And so we're going to use some of the water that Carter just got. Can you pour it about half full in here? That's perfect. Now, can you take the flour that's in that glass container, use one of the spoons, and put all of that flour in there as well. The flour is what's going to thicken our gravy. And we're going to use a very scientific technique to distribute the flour in the vegetable bouillon mixture that we have going on in here. We're going to shake it. We don't want any bumps, no lumps. So we're going to pour this in here and then bring the whole thing back up to a boil.
All right. Just keep smelling better all the time. Everything is ready. Oh, that looks good and it smells amazing. You guys can dig in our 3 favorite Thanksgiving dishes. Carter went for the pie, no surprise there. Is there enough whipped cream on that, Carter?
Yes.
Yes. I don't know, you can still see the pie, not like usual.
I'm going to go for the roll, guys.
All right. How's the mushroom gravy, Audrey?
The spices are really coming through there.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Good.
The rolls are nice and flaky.
How's the pie?
And try a little bit of that, Dad.
I love that pie because it's almost like brownie batter in the middle. It's so good. I'm pretty thankful for all of you guys. Good work today.
Thank you.
And happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
When Mom and Dad were living alone without kids, Mom could not make pie crust. So her and Dad thought, well, maybe we could make pecan pie without pie crust. So then they tried it, and it turns out you can't. So they made it a lot, and they ate it with spoon, they ate it with ice cream, they ate it with almost everything sweet. So I wish they would do that more often, but they've never done it for us.
My grandma lets me eat pie at breakfast, and she says it's healthier than donuts because pumpkin pie and other pies have like fruit and vegetables in it.
Funding for Iowa Ingredient has been provided by a grant from the W.T. and Edna M. Dahl Trust, Chef Lisa Laval of Trellis Cafe and Chef Michael Laval of the Des Moines Embassy Club. For more than 100 years, the Des Moines Embassy Club has provided a place to dine, celebrate, and do business. Located in downtown Des Moines and in West Des Moines, details are at embassyclub.com. Friends, the Iowa Public Television Foundation.